Now, how are we doing this time? You like a big introduction.
Yeah.
Cody and I think it's janky.
You don't have to do a big introduction, but at least
a big one.
That's fine. Whatever you want to do with that. But what are we covering? Because we can't cover all of archery season in one podcast.
Absolutely not. I think we should just tell our stories, and then we just tell little snippets. Just let you smell how good the food is, but we're not going to actually let you eat any of it. You have to come here and spend the money.
Okay. Do you want to start, or you want me to start?
No, I got this.
Okay.
All right, we got some guys rounded up. We finished up with archery season. It's still going on. There's one more week, but we got a couple of the guys. Cody's here, and Devin, and my wife, my lovely wife, she's here. And we're going to tell some snippets of archery season this year. First of all, how was Morgan's cooking this year? Crickets. It was great. Every meal was made with love. I just want to openly thank her on here to everybody that what a great job she does. And the criticism that I give her for the clients that might have seen it, it's helpful criticism.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's hard to round up all the guides to tell like the stories kind of like in order how they go. So
looking down the list, this archery season we had more repeat clients than we've ever had. And I think that played a big role in how our first couple weeks went. Would you agree?
Well, absolutely.
Everyone always agrees with me.
Exactly. You're a deputy dog. We're scared to death of you. We were about to like ease in and talk about some of these clients.
Well, listen to my segue here,
yeah.
okay? But two of the repeat clients that we had were extra special because it was Carl, who's been out here hunting with us for how many years?
Uncle Carl.
That was
he's been here
smooth.
since.
That was a smooth transition there.
Oh, you're good.
So Carl's been out here for about 15 years.
Yeah, he was telling me how long he's been out here. He was out here. He went with another outfit before he was with Reggie and Jerry Mouse, and he went there for a year, and then he didn't come back for a few years, but he's been here ever since for 15. And he's killed a bull. I think he's killed what, eight or nine bulls maybe.
That was number 8, if I'm counting correctly.
Yeah. He killed a bunch of bulls out here.
And he came out with Reggie, the former outfitter. And he's been out here for how many years? 20 years. And Devin got to guide them. So, Devin, how is that week?
Well, first of all, what are the ages of these characters?
Yeah, they're pushing 70, 65, 70. Carl, he's 68 years old. He gets around real good. He can get around the mountains better. Honestly, he can get around the mountains better than a lot of guys can. That's in shape. Like, he'll go wherever he don't care.
So I've guided Carl a bunch. That dude, you've hunted with me when I've guided him. That guy's he's a killer. Yeah. He honestly, he is.
He is. Absolutely.
And he knows what to do.
Yep.
So whenever bulls start bugling, he does his own thing. And Carl, he likes to put his decoys out.
Yeah, he got old Bertha out there. His cow decoy he got set up.
Well, it's comical, but
it is.
He is complete Eastern mentality of hunting, but the dude's an old-time killer, and he makes it happen.
He's fun to hunt with. He's
Can't
always
hear
fun
now.
to hunt with. Can't hear at all.
None.
At all.
And then Reggie was yelling at him. I could.
Oh man, them two are at it all week. Yeah, they can't. Neither one of them can hear very well. Reggie turns around. He goes, "Carl, what's that rattling?" Well, I don't know. Carl's pocket. He got pockets from head to toe, and he's got them plumb full of anything you can imagine. Well, here he pulled out. I don't even know what he pulled out, but it was ringing in there. He sticks it somewhere else, and they just laugh. Reggie just looks at him, just shakes his head, keep on going down the trail.
I had a terrible week
What are you doing?
Listen, I'm saying how good of a week they had.
Okay, well, let him tell some more stories about Carl and Reggie.
Well, the first day we got, Monday? We went to a spot where we got switched spots and we was going down the trail. We didn't hear nothing. It was about midday. No bugles. Didn't see much sign. No bugles. We dropped off, and it was about midday. We stopped. We ate lunch, and we was heading down the trail. And sure enough, we were just cow calling going down the trail. And sure enough, we heard a bugle. We run back up the trail, and we dropped down in on them. We set up. we dropped in a couple 100 yards, set up, and there was two of them. They were screaming, and I set up above them, and Reggie and Carl, they run down below. They got set up, and I mean, it all happened so fast. We just started cow calling. I could see that bull coming up to my right, and I'm behind some brush, and I'm cow calling, and this bull comes up, and I just see his rack, and
so he comes straight to you instead of.
Yeah, he was looking at me. He was coming up towards me, and then Reggie and Carl, Reggie hit the cow call down there, so he was coming across, and I could see this bull, and I'm looking, and where this bull stopped, I'm like, Carl, they're right there on top of him. And I'm sitting there, I'm like, why ain't they shooting, And this bull's piddling around. He turns, and he kind of knows something ain't right. And he turns, and he's starting to go back the way he come. And I cow called a couple times. He turned and come back into him. And then Reggie barked, and he done something. And he turned real quick and barked. And that's when Carl shot. And the bull took off. And there was another bull there that I heard him, but I did not see him. And Reggie was going after him. We were trying to double up, but it didn't quite work out.
So you guys are in the middle of it. So Carl drops back and is calling with you now.
Yeah, we stayed back and we kept calling.
Reggie took off for the second bull, trying to cover some little bit of ground on him.
Yeah. So we piddled with that bull for a couple hours probably. He just stayed on that ridge back and forth bugling. Wouldn't come in, wouldn't come. And eventually he just went on.
So a calling set up that long, you found out with older gentlemen that they should have diapers.
Yeah, because we set up again. We're going up because we moved up because this bull's up on the ridge. So Carl, we get something in. Carl's in the back. Reggie goes up on the hill, gets into these pines. And I'm looking. I see the bull. I see the bull on the ridge because I'm looking at Reggie. Reggie's on the ridge. And I'm like, he's right there. And he's still bugling. Well, Carl's behind me, and he's back there raking. He's like, I'm going to have to go use the bathroom. I'm in the middle. Yeah, in the middle. Bull's bugling. And Reggie's like, he goes, all right. He goes, you just keep that bull bugling. Whatever, just keep that bull talking. We're like, all right. So we hear the bull. He's talking a little bit here and there. And Carl, he goes down. He goes, I'm going to the bathroom. He goes, I'm going down the hill. I said, well, take your bugle tube. So he goes down the hill, and I see him down there. Well, he can't hear. So I'm like, I said, Carl, I said, when you hear that bull, I said, bugle back at it. I said, bugle, and he's down there, and he got his pants around his ankles down there.
It didn't go very far.
He didn't go very far. I could see him. He weren't probably 40 yards from me down over the bank. And I'm like, Carl. I'm like, bugle. He's bent over bugling while he's pooping.
Gee, sakes alive.
Oh, it was comical. It was funny.
It's dedication.
Oh, yeah. We had a good time.
So then you have to start tracking the bull that Carl shot.
Yeah, so we started tracking this bull. We tracked him for probably about 800,000 yards. Till the blood, we didn't quit finding blood. He was going uphill the whole time and started side hilling, and so we just backed out. It started getting late, so we just backed out and let him go till the next day, and went back up there and kept looking for him, recover him.
Now there was a protocol that whenever you found blood, Carl was to come down to you.
So yeah, it's constantly they're bickering. So we're kind of spread out. We're looking for blood. And Carl was just behind us going, and he's where we find last blood, he stands there. He stays right there.
Oh, but he's marking.
Yep.
Serious about it.
That's where Carl stands. So then
probably had to yell at him. He's wanting to shave bark off trees and all kinds of nothing.
Oh, yeah. Well, he had his arrow. He poked his arrow everywhere there was last blood. So we and Reggie, we kind of ventured off. We're looking. We find blood. We find blood probably, 75 yards above the last blood we found. So Reggie, he calls like 4 times in a row. It's not, you ain't gonna. He calls, and what's Carl do? He calls back. He calls back. So we wait a few minutes, And Reggie's like, what the heck's he doing down there? Calls again, Carl eats same place, And I told Reggie, I'm like, and we wait there for about 20 minutes probably. And I said, Reggie, I'll just run down there and get him if you want. He goes, Carl, what the hell are you doing? Get your ass up here. So a couple minutes later, you see Carl coming up. Reggie just shaking his head the whole time. So we just kept on going. We kept finding blood here. I mean, it took us a little while, but it was, Carl, he just.
Oh, he got everything on him, too. He's, like, ready for Nom.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
So how big was his raking horn? Because this is hilarious.
Well, yeah. The process of looking for this bull, we're on top of this ridge, and sure enough we found a shed, probably his shed from the year before, honestly, and this is a full on shed now.
It's a branched antler bull.
And he got that, and he just hands it to me to pack around. This is my raking antler for the week. He wanted to pay. He put a string on it. He tied a string like a
4.5 foot antler. He's got rope tied to it.
Yeah, he got a rope tied to it to put on his shoulder to pack through the brush. So the next day we get out, and he just
hands it to you. Here, you
I'm like,
back
gee,
it.
we gotta cut this thing in half or something. Pack this thing through the brush. Getting caught. That string got caught on everything constantly. I'm like, come untied all the time.
Oh boy.
It was fun. We had a good time.
So you found the bull, 2 days?
It was 2 days later we ended up finding the bull, and it was a lot further than and he didn't go the way we thought he was going. Because the last place we found blood, he was starting to go downhill, but.
What was it, like 4 miles or something?
Yeah, it was like 2 miles from where we shot. And he just kept on going up. He kept on going uphill. And he side hill, and he just kept on going up toward like where his bed was. But we searched all around that, but we kind of went all around him a good bit because he was going back to his bed, I think, on the ridge. But we searched. We went from the bottom all the way around, but
not a good shot.
Yeah, not a good shot. And once we found it, and it was shot on the wrong end of the spectrum.
Yep.
Right in the ham.
Yep.
So.
Yeah, so let's go into that because Carl said.
Yes, so after all this happened, walked down, he center punched him, drilled him, center punched him, and by the look of the blood, what we were tracking, yeah, he did. It looked like he did center punch him, and we figured he was. And where that bull was at bugling, when we was after him, we figured that bull was dead in between us and that bull because he was looking for his buddy. Mm-hmm. But that's what we kind of assumed, but he wasn't. He kept on going, but we knew he couldn't have been. The way he said he was hit and kept going uphill like that, it just wasn't making a whole lot of sense. Because if you're hurt that bad, you usually don't go uphill.
I never believe anything they say when they tell me to shoot. Or how big it is.
Yeah, I learned that a lot this year.
Oh, yeah.
When everyone's a 6 point. One of them did know exactly where he shot, and he was right. Yep, he did say exactly, and he was drilled him right where he said.
Yep.
He didn't know what he shot, though.
No, he thought he shot a big bull.
Well, that bull come roaring in on him, so that was pretty awesome.
Yeah.
They all look impressive when they come in like that. Micah knew where he shot his bull, too.
Yeah, and he hammered his.
That one nice bull did come in, and what he shot came in and somehow switched places.
Yeah, we had the old switcheroo. So Reggie and Carl, we're about to get into our story. Reggie and Carl ended up killing a bull with you. That's impressive. Now, they were supposed to come out a week later so they could hunt with me, but they did what they wanted to and went Lone Ranger. And they knew the Virginia crew was coming in that week, and they wanted to have a whole reunion here at the lodge. Put us in a pickle, but it worked out.
Yeah.
It worked out perfect.
Yeah.
I didn't get to hunt with them, but Devin got to listen to all the arguing, so it was just as good hearing the stories.
Yep. Oh, yeah.
It just goes to show that kind of determination and that type of mentality does really well out here. where you have 6 days to kill something and you want to tag something, so you're up every morning and you hunt sun up to sundown. That didn't happen too much this archery season. We had a lot of guys call it quits.
If you have a surgery in a third world country, it's probably not real good a few months before the hunting season. It's probably not real good that you come hunt here. Just give us a rain check. You can come next year, because we had a gentleman that showed up that had a surgery, and honestly, he had no oblique muscle. After he showed us the video of the surgery, which about made Cody puke, etc.
Yeah, it was rough.
Yeah, it was gnarly. But
in on him.
Yeah, he didn't have any like strength side to side. It would look like he was stumbling drunk person down through the woods.
He had no stability at all.
None.
His midsection.
And very, very stubborn. Very stubborn son of a gun.
It was perfect.
Yeah.
It was a perfect client for you.
Yeah, it was. I will say, I've not guided many people from other countries, and I'm super ignorant about all other countries besides the United States. And it was eye-opening kind of hearing his stories. That part was fun. It was kind of nice. But yeah, I wish he could have went a little bit better. He was a pretty tough fella. I imagine if he would have been in the physical shape that he usually is, he would have been just fine at it. But he physically could not do it. Mentally, he was right with us every day, but we couldn't do hunts where there was elk. We just could not. We did a couple, but they weren't there on the easy hunts, and I knew where there was elk at, but we couldn't go find them. We couldn't really go downhill very much, or off trail, or off logging roads, things like that. And if you can't really get off trail, it's very hard to get after elk in this country. He wanted to cuss me awful bad.
Oh no! Wait, you gotta tell him about the cedars.
Oh yeah, he kept telling me about the cedars of Lebanon. So that was pretty cool. And we took like an easy day, and then we went and did a little bit pretty physical hunt. And when we dropped out, I told him he wasn't in the cedars of Lebanon. We were in the cedars of such and such canyon. He goes, "These are the cedars of hell." And then coming down through there, he goes, "This is not hunting. This is American torture." It is a grind. If you want to come elk hunting, I mean, I don't know how to explain it much more than what we do in these podcasts. I feel like we're just beating the dead horse, because we just say, just come experience. If you don't like it, it's not for you. It's fine. You're not going to offend any of us. Just tell us so we can take it easy, and we'll go to minis and maybe go shoot some skeet.
That's what a guy told me this year. He said, "This just isn't for me." He goes, "This is the first time I'm doing this, and this is going to be the last time I'm doing this."
Yeah, it's honestly, it's not for everybody, and our hunts really aren't for everybody.
The only problem about that was he said that on Monday. That was a bad one.
That is unfortunate when that happens. That's good for you to experience that type of stuff.
He said that after he had a bull bugling in his face for an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Do you want to go over what he did kind of wrong on that?
Yeah, well, it was real slow. We're in good sign, but it was real slow. About 5 o'clock, one sounded off, so we drop down a little bit and get a little bit closer to it. I do some cow calling. It bugles back at me from still pretty far away, but so we get a little bit closer, and then I brought a bull into it. Then he started getting a little frustrated, and he moved towards us, so I slipped towards him a little bit, and then the whole rigmarole of back and forth with him. And then we got to the point where we were pretty much chasing this sucker down for thermals. We were racing him down the hill because thermals were starting to drop, and he was above us, and then we were below him. Then he was below us, and we were below him. So we were just bombing down the hill as fast as we could. We beat him to this bench, and it was just a standoff. About 80 yards. We creep a little bit, about into 60, and I drop back and start just acting like I'm a young bull, all fired up about him after I put my cows away and coming up to fight him. And he didn't like it very much, so you could just see him. There's a wall of brush, and you could just see just stuff thrashing. I was like, just walk in and just walk
Yeah.
up to him. Like,
When them bulls are raking, they close their eyes, brush
yeah,
is thrashing
he's
all
not,
around
he can't
them.
hear, he can't see. I said, just walk up and shoot it. He was real reluctant to do that, so I wasn't too sure what was going on. I was like, just walk up to him and shoot him. But he's like, I don't want to spook him. I was like, he eventually just pulled up to this ridge right above us because he knew he couldn't beat us to thermals or anything.
They don't like that if they don't have the upper hand on it.
No, he didn't like that at all. So he just pulls up to this little ridge 60, 70 yards above us, and he's just chuckling and bugling.
Calling you out.
Yeah, just being like, if you're going to come up here, just come up here.
Yeah.
Like, come on. And I wouldn't do it. I was raking. He was fired up the whole time. And I noticed he'd go up the ridge, bugle, and then he'd come down about 5 minutes later and bugle and hang out for a little bit and then just go up. This is over like a 20, 30 minute stand. Like, kind of like a turkey, how they'll just hit a zone and just strut back and forth.
Yeah.
And when he gobbles up the hill and gobbles down the hill, next time he goes up and gobbles, you got to slip in.
Exactly.
And that's what I was trying to explain to him, but he just wouldn't do it. Like, I was like, when he goes back up, you got to slip up there where he comes back down. He's just going to walk right to you. He's like, all right. So I go back. I call. He bugles up the hill. And then he bugles down low. I'm like,
Gotta be on.
waiting for the crashing to start. Like, he's going to shoot it. And then he goes back up. So I hurry up and slip in where he was. He's still standing there. I'm like, what are you doing? He's like, I can't spook this bull. It's like, well, you ain't going to kill him standing right there.
No, he's already. If he doesn't come rolling in that Mexican standoff, it's pretty much over at that point. You gotta.
And then he comes right on top of us and bugles. I'm like, he's right there, like 50 yards. And it's starting to get pretty dark at this point. So I drop back down. And then he knows something's up. He's barking, bugling at me. So I do it back, and then he did that a few times. Went back up, went back down. He's still just standing there listening to him, just holding his bow, and then he just took his cows and just kind of piddled off as it was getting dark.
And us saying all this on a podcast, sitting here in the evening talking, doesn't put the rush or feeling of the thermals trying to beat them down, because this all happens at a certain time. That elk's getting up, you know what I mean? He's trying to beat the legal shooting light. Like, this is all happening. You're trying to move your client around. You also have a few-hour hike out. I mean, you got there's a lot going on. How much do you want to chase this thing? I mean, how?
And I knew how it was kind of like a fired up bugling bull was pretty.
You got to go after that.
He was far and few between
now.
this year.
Exactly.
So I was like, dude, this is it. So we just bombed down to him. Yeah. And after it got dark, we were walking. I was like, how'd you like that? That was awesome. And he goes, it was pretty cool, but elk hunting ain't for me. He goes, this is the first time I'm doing this, and this is definitely the last time I'm doing this. And I was like, oh boy, this is gonna be.
Which kind of sucks, because there were some clients in camp that would have killed for an opportunity like that and could have made it happen. But that's just how archery season goes.
And then later in the week, he ended up admitting that he was pretty intimidated by the elk and was a little worried about getting aggressive with him, which if that bull would have never known he was there.
Really. He ended up at the hospital anyway, so he should have just taken antler instead of what happened to him.
Yeah.
Do you want to tell that story?
Yeah. We went into the spot while the thermals are still dropping, kind of just right before they start to rise, we kind of head up to this bench and just acting like we're a couple cows going to bed, just letting all the thermals rise, letting everything kind of bed up so we can then slip around the bedrooms and stuff. So I was like, I did a little bit of cow calling. I set him up just where he could see. I was like, and it rained the night before, so I was like, get under a tree where it's half dry, just break a couple branches so you can still draw your bow and move if you have to, nice and quietly. It's like, all right. So I get a couple yards away from him just so he doesn't try to talk or move around or do too much. And I'm sitting there, I'm eating a snack, and I hear, Cody! He's like screaming but whispering at the same time. I'm like, what in the world? He does it again. So I stand up and I whistle, and here he comes, half running through the woods. Arrow still knocked, almost cutting his ear off, and he's just like shaking. And I mean, he's worked up real bad. He gets up to me. I see blood. I don't know where it's coming from yet. And he's about to cut his ear off. I'm like, maybe he cut himself with his broadhead or something. And he gets up to me. He goes, we gotta go to the hospital. I'm cut real bad. And he's like swinging his broadhead in my face. So I'm like, first off, calm down. So I take his arrow off his bow, put it on the ground. I'm like, what happened? And he shows me his knuckle was just sliced up real bad. And
Cutting firewood?
No. He figured that he didn't want to make too much noise breaking the sticks off of a tree, so he decided to get his pocket knife out and try to slice them off. And he missed and sliced his knuckle off instead of the branch. So he was all worked up.
Sorry, I don't mean to laugh.
He was. Oh, we did a lot of laughing about it.
He laughed about it.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
he was
good.
he was a super
I
nice
didn't get
guy.
No, he was super relaxed about it. He knew he messed up. Anyways, he was all fired up. He's like, we gotta go to the hospital. So like, all right, relax. So I get my first aid kit. I'm getting all my stuff. I get him to put some antibiotic stuff on it, put a Band-Aid on it, wrap it up, just so he doesn't bleed everywhere and kind of clots it up. I was like, do you wanna, we can keep hunting. This isn't gonna mess you up too bad. He goes, no, we gotta go to the hospital. I need stitches. All right. So get out of the woods, go back to the lodge. He gets changed. We take the trip to the hospital. I mean, it's only about 50 minutes away, so it ain't too bad. Get to the hospital. He gets all stitched up and repaired.
How many stitches?
7.
Bro.
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a pretty nasty cut.
All right.
I mean, he sliced himself pretty bad. But on the way back from the hospital, he's like, I want to hunt. So we go back in the same place, do a little evening hunt, and we didn't really get into anything, but that hindered him pretty bad for the rest of the week, carrying stuff and doing all that. But
Now we haven't had a client. We've only had one client in 5 years go to the hospital. This year we've sent 3.
Really? Who?
Yeah.
What?
Like
Three?
within
Yeah,
the week.
the
same
guy-
week.
Where
yeah,
was
the
I?
first guy. I don't know.
Die.
First guy had a stick. First day of the hunt, Cole's guy runs a stick right into his eye.
Yeah, my guys wear safety glasses every day after that.
So, well, your guys came with like an entire trailer full of gear, so they were geared up for any situation that might arise. So Cole's guy runs a stick right into his eye, and it was pretty bad. I mean, it did cut.
It sucks.
It did cut the
Awful.
retina.
Yeah.
It was
And-
nasty looking, kind of.
Yeah, and then but he went to the hospital 2 days in a row because he couldn't see, and it was just freaking him out. Which, if you're not used to seeing eye injuries or anything, it does freak you out. The only reason we weren't too freaked out was because you cut your eye open, and it just takes a couple days to get your eyesight back. So that was unfortunate because that stopped his hunt for Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. But he still hunted really hard that whole week. He didn't let it deter him. It sucked because if something would have came in, he would have only had one operating eye to work with.
And it gives you a headache. Yeah, your other one's watering like crazy. I wouldn't have wanted to hike around. I don't think neither.
And then we got, I won't say his name, but he came here with a cold, and he took a swig of cough medicine that he didn't know what had codeine in it. No, I didn't give it to him, but the person he came with had cough medicine that still had codeine in it, so he overdosed himself a little bit with codeine. So he made it to the top of the mountain, made Jimmy bring him down off the mountain because he thought his lungs weren't going to work. Well, if you take too much codeine, it labors your breathing a lot, and yeah, your lungs are done. And he was only supposed to take 0.5 milliliters, and he took a swig, which, I mean,
Whole shot glass full.
yeah, so he wasn't doing too good. So he got himself to the hospital. He was fine. He was just had all the side effects of codeine, too much codeine. So that was it. Those were the 3 that we sent to the hospital this year so far.
Murphy, 6.
I know.
That was only had clients, what, 5 weeks? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well, I
it's been
mean-
rough. Oh, it's been rough.
It was an archery season, that's for sure.
I didn't
Yeah.
even know this happened.
You didn't?
No, not at all. So I'm sitting here making eye contact with Devin.
Anyway.
So we did have one of my clients, Micah. He has been with us, 4 times?
Yeah.
Never killed an archery bull. It's been rifle hunting a few of those times. Killed a mule deer, maybe 2. Don't know. But he was successful on harvesting a bull, and it was awesome to be a part of that. We hunted super hard all week. How many bulls we call in, Cody? That was the best week I had.
Yeah, Tuesday we called in that 6 point. And then that day, I guess we technically called in 2.
Yeah, because another bull snuck in the back door. Yeah, we called a really nice bull in, like picture perfect. Come off, waited for the thermals, took it easy, drifted off the mountain, kind of knew where a bull was going to be at. Couldn't have wrote it down on paper. Walked out to like this perfect clearing, looking down in this little crap hole, let out 2 cow calls, and right back at us. And we're sitting there having a meeting of the minds discussing on Onyx how we're going to work him. And you could hear him popping brush down there coming. So we like instantly, he covered 600 yards in 15, 20 minutes. Just
He came in quick.
just come trotting in. Give 2 more bugles as he was coming in, and took Micah to school. He didn't drop down far enough whenever we were, because it just kind of happened fast. And you can go over a million calling setups, like this is what you need to do if he comes into there. Well, Micah is a good hunter, and he just hadn't had enough opportunities happen. Well, that bull schooled him, and Micah knew it instantly, and it aggravated him. And then the bull like bugled back at us after he knew. The bull come in. The bull dropped down below these blowdowns, and I couldn't see it. I told Micah to drop down below me, and I run back and started cow calling. And we had already bugled a couple of times in a calling setup up over the ridge, so he already knew there was a bull there, which I don't like to bring a bull into it, you know what I mean, right away, especially early in the season. But it fired him up. That bull was raring to go, but I seen what was happening. The bull was going to cut up around, get above us, and get our win. So I just took off running, and luckily Cody seen exactly what was happening, tucked right in behind me, and we did like a bull chasing a cow as we like run down through the woods, because it was kind of open timber. There was just some brush in between us. And that bull turned on a dime and come running, charging towards us as we broke down over the bank as like a last effort to put the bull in front of Micah. And he got the full draw, but it was 45 yards, just
messy.
Yeah, just messy. So luckily Micah is very conservative on taking shots. Didn't try it, but
yeah, and then a different bull came in behind me because I was behind.
Yeah, during
you
the calling setup
as like a little bit of a buffer just in case. And I hear sticks popping behind me, and I mean the wind's in our face.
Yeah.
This thing's coming behind me, so I'm just trying to
I
was like, hurry up, Micah, shoot it.
Yeah, you're motioning to me like. And I was like, we can't do nothing. We're like, this is the hand we got the deal.
We were locked down pretty
Yeah.
good.
But that was a failed attempt. That was fun, though.
Mm.
It actually set Micah up for the success later in the week. Yeah. So we did an Old Faithful. They were bugling from the time we went in there with Micah in the morning. We could hear bulls talking.
Oh, yeah, we heard bulls from the time we started.
Yeah, we started hiking, 4:15, 4:30.
Yeah.
We started hiking real early. Bulls were talking. It was like meant to be day. It was the epic day of elk hunting for us that year.
It was so easy to walk up the mountain 'cause you're
Yeah.
just listening to them.
We go clear around, and we get onto these elk, and we know that they're bedded right there, and we kind of bed up with them. And it's real cool. I've loved doing that because elk weren't very vocal during the middle of the day, at least for me this year. So we would go lay with bulls, and that was fun as can be. You'd kind of just be less than 100, 200 yards sometimes, just sleeping with them, and we would lay there for 4 hours. We laid with that bull. It's getting like 4:30, 5 o'clock, and it's about time we should start hearing something, and nothing bugles. So we'd go into a cold calling setup because you kind of need it to start to happen before the thermals change in there, so you know which direction to go. And we did a little cold calling setup knowing that we were within 200 yards of them elk. And 5 minutes into it, not even.
Not even. I mean, it was the first. We just cow called it, like, let off, just both of us back and forth a couple of times. And just
real nice. You could tell it had some weight to it. The bugle. He kind of gave us a bedroom bugle at first, and then it got serious, and the bugles kept getting closer, and it was like the perfect setup. And we were waiting for the bow to go off, and then you could hear the bull turn and run, and no bow go off, and we kind of let a little bit of time go by, and we could let the bull get out of there. And I sneak up to Micah, and the first thing out of Micah's mouth is, "I don't deserve a bull of that caliber." And I was like, "What?" He's like, "I had him at full draw." He's like, "It was a giant bull." He goes, "It was huge," and he was trying to describe it to us and that, and he's seen some elk, and he was pretty wound up over that. He was fired up. I kind of knew where those elk were heading, and they go down. The elk, they kind of roll around, and we drop down to them and start cow calling, and we beat them to the spot we were trying to get. I don't want to say a whole bunch on here, but we beat them to the spot that we're trying to get to, and they just kind of trickle in kind of silent in below us, and then all of a sudden you can hear him bugle. Ugh. And I look down, and I seen him going head tilts down there, and he's rolling and bugling, and you can see his head caulking through timber, and I can see cows moving in and out of like the shadows, and he's bugling. I was like, oh my goodness, we're back in this ball game. And you take off running,
50 yards?
50 yards behind me, and Micah's up there, and Micah kind of goes into kill mode now. He's done messed up twice. Not really the second time he didn't really mess up. It just wasn't meant to be. So he's moving in good. He keeps trying to drift down on those elk as we're getting him bugling. And I'm raking my feet and doing as much as I can to like make it sound like there's quite a few elk there. And this bull was fired up. What is he? He comes up a little bit. The big bull comes up.
Yeah, and then I take off, and I'm just like breaking every stick, flipping every rock. And then you just kind of follow real slow behind me, acting like a bull with another cow.
Yep.
And then
because I like to play, like when we do these setups, I don't like to just make elk noises. Yep. We set up full from the time we go into these little elk bedrooms. I'm playing 2 old cows and a little dinky bull that's horny. We like set up this scene always, and we keep it going the whole time, and that's what it takes on these. Some of the times with these quiet elk is to let this sucker marinate for a long time and let them think that's actually what's there. And that bull believed that there was a young bull that come in there and got some of his cows that were on that bedding area, and he was hook, line, and sinkered. And I did a lit ball and started chasing you backwards, and you were cow calling, and I was acting like I was intimidated by him. And all of a sudden, we heard the bow go off, and we thought we shot the big bull. We both were like, oh, my goodness, he just shot that big bull. And I'm like half crying. I'm so excited. I know Micah's a killer. I'm really hoping that and I'm trying to like look with binoculars and look at Micah and read his personality, and he's just like staring down over the bank. And he kind of gives me a thumbs up, and we sit there for another 20 minutes, half hour, sneak down to Micah. And Micah's Micah, man. He's so excited and like eccentric. He tells us he smoked him. Doesn't say it's a big one. I don't. No.
He never explained the size.
No, I just assumed it was that same bull. But we get down there, and it's a raghorn.
Yeah, because first off, we laid up for like an hour and a half, and then went down to where he shot, and I found the back half of the arrow, and it was all brown. And I just saw the look on Micah's face just drop. Yeah. He was scared. But we walked for about, 80 yards maybe. Saw 2 drops of blood.
Yeah.
And then we just peek over, and he said there he was.
Yeah, I scanned the area with binoculars, and I could see his hair laying down in between two blowdowns. And he run down there, dude, grabbed hold of that thing. We got it on video. He bawled. It was awesome. It was
so cool.
It was so awesome being a part of that. It made my whole archery season, to be honest with you.
Yeah. Yeah, because he was really appreciative. You know?
Oh.
And
But he knows what it takes to come out here. And, you know, there's a lot of guys that come out here that expect that they ain't never been out here, and they expect you're going to go out there and see an elk behind every dang tree. That ain't how it is.
No. Micah was on his hands and knees, giving thanks to God for being able for that opportunity. And when we kind of give him a moment, we walked down there, and I was like, "How many boots, Micah?" And he turned around, half bawling, and was like, 3. Meaning he's wore out 3 pairs of boots chasing elk before he's killed an archery bull. And that's awesome. I mean, like, the determination on him, it was a slow week, and we didn't let any stone unturned and hunted our guts out.
Yeah.
Killed a bull. So that pack out was gnarly. We call for the cavalry. We hang out there for a while.
Yeah, I mean,
Till about 11.
how long it take us to work that thing out? 20 minutes? 25 minutes? Get all the quarters off of it?
Probably, and we took our time. That carcass was very clean
Mm-hmm.
when we got done with it. And we knew we had a lot of people coming in, so
Yeah.
we took everything but his bugle.
Yeah,
I would like to know how much weight we packed off that bull, because it wasn't a very big bull. I mean, he's just a raghorn bull, which I say that just a rag. It doesn't matter. A public land bull, at your first elk, shooting one with a bow.
An elk period in this area is...
Yeah, it's only 9% across the board.
Yeah.
Dudes are shooting bulls with a bow. If you're one of those percenters, that's awesome. And that's terrible to let the size of the antlers determine whether you're going to be happy about it or not. We were kind of disgusted because we actually thought it was the big bull. We a lot of times as guides, we know what's out there, and other guides listening to this will feel the same frustration. But it's like shooting old 2-year-old turkeys. These young bulls are the ones that get hook, line, and sinker convinced faster than an older bull, and they come running in, and they always give the best shot opportunities the quickest, and they get shot. So that's why a lot of times you're seeing that. But Micah, it was sweet.
Mm-hmm.
How many guys come in? You,
There's 4
Devin.
of us.
There's
There's 7 of us.
7 of us to pack it out, so it wasn't hard at all. It was fun.
That was Wade's second pack out of the week. He was dying.
Yeah.
He did
Yeah.
good, though.
Well, his feet's been growing so fast.
His blisters.
Yeah, we've just been giving him boots, worn out boots to wear. So he
Look.
had like 5 blisters on that one foot. He doesn't complain though.
No, because he'll argue with you. He just soon wears Crocs. You have
Yeah.
to yell at him and be like, "Wait, you need to put boots on. You know where we're going?"
It doesn't bother him, but it
It
looks
don't.
super unprofessional. We're sitting here talking about you need all this mountain gear. My boy's wearing white Crocs and Nike socks to anywhere.
Hike packing out.
Yeah.
Because he went in to help pack Cole's bull out that week. That was a really good week, and obviously everyone wants in on that second week of archery. They think that's the only time bulls bugle, and that's the best time to come out. Which statistically, it's a good week. But the reason I think that week was so good was just because of the hunters that we had in camp.
It's always the best week. So the hunters that hunt hard.
Yeah. And we had a camp full of hunters. I have rarely ever seen any of the guides be worn out. And that week, all the guides were pretty worn out. Every client wanted to wake up and go hunt every day, hard, all day long.
Micah had me wore down. My feet were hurting, actually. My feet were hurting that week because the first 2 days we hunted in the rain and wet brush. So your feet got soaked. So your toes get all swollen up. Feels like your socks are balled up underneath them. It's because they're like been laying in water like you're in a bathtub for 3 hours. It's an awful feeling.
Yeah, that first day was...
That's the worst part about guiding.
Yeah.
Just hunting through those real bad days because they only have us 6 days to do it. And you're like, man, I would not go out right now. we had the other client that Devin was with me, and we were lucky enough to kill a bull with them too, and that was down to Saturday night, man.
That was the last hour.
Now, those guys, we can set this up, and this can be like the main meat and potatoes of this whole entire podcast would be these two characters. Because the one was an outdoor sales rep.
Mm-hmm.
And
For outdoor gear.
Yep, for outdoor gear. And the other one owned an outdoor store. So they were in the business of selling gadgets to hunters. These guys, they had a whole, 20-foot trailer load of stuff.
Oof.
Yeah.
And
When we're talking stuff, like crates of gear. It was quite impressive, the amount of gear that they hauled out here.
they thought I was full crap.
Oh, yeah.
They
Well,
did not
okay,
like
so
me.
one of them has been elk hunting before. He's killed a couple elk at least,
Yep.
and he's been hunting all over the United States for elk. So he knew elk hunting. The other one had never even seen an elk before or went on a western hunt. So anyway, go on with your story.
They just didn't like me. They thought I was full crap.
Oh, you are half the time.
Blowing full of smoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This guy don't know what he's doing.
And
Yeah.
99% of the time, Josh is full of crap. But for elk hunting,
Yeah.
I guess he knows what he's doing more than half the time.
Well, these guys.
But they
didn't
did.
believe it. They weren't buying it.
It was a really rough week that week. Honestly, for all the clients, it was rough.
The hiking could have been better, but that's on me as a guide to take them to
Yeah, right.
areas that they can hunt successfully in. And I just couldn't make it happen. I couldn't find I couldn't buy a bugle or did anything for one. I was at wit's end, and I knew one spot to go to, but I did not know if they were physically capable of doing it. And we did a hunt the day before, and I'm sitting there on the ridge, and I was like, I could dive down in this canyon, wear these two guys out, probably have tomorrow off, and sleep in. I was like, that doesn't sound half bad. But I probably should be a good guide and show them an elk. So I decided that I was going to go back over and try to sell it to them. Hey, let's not do anything today. This place, there's nothing talking in here. We could dive in here and maybe work up a bugle, probably wear you out. Same thing I just explained. I was like, but if we rest up, go back to the lodge, lighten our gear up, shoot your bows, eat early supper, go to sleep, and get up super early and give one last ditch effort to go into this far spot, I think we could kill a bull. So I text Devin. I got them on board with it. I sold it real good. So now I'm all in on this. Now I got to produce. I'm nervous as can be. And so I got Devin. At least Devin's going to be there if this whole plan fails. I could talk to Devin on the way home because I know they're not going to talk to me. So we do the hunt. Nothing. Ghost towning us. I look at Devin. I was like, dude, I look like an idiot. I was like, there ain't nothing going to talk in here. And I was like, we got to do something. We got to get something worked up. And we did this wild calling setup, kind of just, I was back and forth and over the thing and just kind of, we got all wound up in there a little bit. And dude, they bugled one time. And we set up for that one bugle. And it worked out. He bypassed the guy that we were wanting to shoot, the bull.
Yeah.
And he did not bugle at all coming in. When the bull bypassed him, he finally bugled, and I was like, oh, crap, he got past Devin. And I was like, well, he's going to be rolling right in on us. So I dropped back, and I was like, coming from right down there. And it didn't take much convincing to get that bull come roaring in. He did lock up there for just 1 minute, and I dropped back a little farther and got him wound up, and he come running in over top of him. And he made a bad shot, told us he did. So I didn't even go look for the arrow. I watched the bull. I didn't watch the bull. I heard the bull exactly what he did, and the guy watched him, and I knew for sure because of what I heard that bull wasn't spooked after he shot. That bull went out there and stood for a little bit and then walked off, and I knew shot in the belly that bull was not going to go far. And as long as we didn't jump him or he didn't get our wind, that bull was going to be laying right tight there, handy. Because there was still elk all around us. So we snuck down out of there, about bumped the bull.
Yeah, we walked right.
Yeah, within probably 150, 200 yards of him.
Absolutely.
And if we had took the easy route going out of there, we for most definitely would have bumped that bull.
Yeah, we had walked right on top of him.
Yep. We thrashed blowdowns and tried to. We took a long time going through there because we were in bad blowdowns to keep our thermals pulled off of that ridge. Got out of there. As sad as it is to say, you're wanting a quick death for the bull, but you can't go in and look for an animal that's shot in the stomach right away. It takes some time for that to kill the animal, and you don't want to push them because you're not going to find them.
Yeah.
If you jump them up, your percentage goes way down. By luck have it, we found the bull early in the morning. We started early, made the climb. The guys were nice enough that all the guides that come and helped. I mean, it was a Sunday. It was our day off.
Sunday morning. There was 8 of us up there.
Yep. Everybody come ready to go. Merry as can be, because the two weren't real happy about what was about to take place about climbing back up there. They were whooped out, man. It's a hard hike. It is a.
Oh yeah, especially going up that way.
Yep. It's a bad one, but we made it in. Found the bull. Even got some pictures. The one spoilage was where the arrow went through the guts and then went into that hind quarter. It had a little bit of spoils on it, but other than that, we recovered all the meat off that bull. It couldn't have worked out any better. I didn't look like such an idiot. They actually believed what I was telling them after that because it made more sense.
Called him in a bull.
Yeah.
But the other one still never seen one. He's like, I still ain't seen. He goes, I still ain't seen a live one in the woods. I'm like, well, you heard one. He was right there. Now you can see a dead one. No, he was pumped. He was cool. He enjoyed it. He was excited.
Yeah, it was rough.
That was a rough week, but we ended up having a really good week somehow that week.
You had to hunt so hard or go through such long, drawn-out, cold-calling setups to get bugles to work, like, in tight on elk. It wasn't, like, energetic like archery season. It was just, like, lackadaisical. The bulls, you had to, like, slowly build their temperature. I don't know. It was strange. I think what I would like to hear more from other guides and people that hunted in the area, that how their season was, because sure, we'd like to say it was a slow rut, whatever. Maybe we sucked at hunting.
And you guys were hearing bugles like super early compared to last year. So who knows? You try and get it all figured out, and then the year rolls around and you learn that you're not any smarter than you were the previous year anyway. So
It's different every year.
Cody had about got ate up by a black
I was just going to say that. That was the same week that Cody had another experience. Go ahead, Cody. Tell us that story, because this story cracks me up.
Yep.
Yeah, so I was hunting with an older fella. He's getting slow, and we were just having a relaxing week. I mean, we'd hunt, and then we'd just piddle around. And, I mean, he goes as hard as he possibly can, and then when he's at his limit, he's like, let's just hang out. So I take him into this spot because he goes, let's just go hard today. If there's one day we're going to go hard, let's make it today. It's like, all right. So we took him into a spot. I did a little call-in setup. We were above a bull's bedroom. And I figured if one does come in, he ain't going to be, if it tries to loop up around us, he's not going to be able to make the mad dash to beat the bull for wind. So there's this giant, pretty much just wall of alders. So I think I'll try to use this as like a wall, like a barrier, because he ain't getting through there he ain't slipping through us in that. So do a little concept, just letting it marinate. And I hear something in the alders. I'm like, there is no way this sucker slipped us. And I hear another thing. And I hear all the huffing and I'm like, uh-oh. So I stand up, I draw my pistol, and I see some cubs run down the hill. Not cubs, they're a year old. Just still with their mom. And then I see Mom coming at me, and she's a big old sow. So I'm drawing on her. I'm yelling at her. She's coming right at me.
Full out.
Yeah.
Coming for you.
Well, I mean, she was running pretty fast. And
Lee has no
you
idea
gotta lay
what's
this
happening.
out, man. This is daggone bear attack. We gotta have some emotion in this story.
okay, well, she was coming at me. She was still making all the
Teeth,
noises.
just blood dripping off of them. Just
Eyes were red.
all dead. Just
Yeah.
ears laid back. Steam coming off of. Yeah, go on. I'm
Eyes were
feeling it
red.
now. It's
And
happening.
She was coming at me. So, I mean, I was on her. I was yelling. And then Lee said her cubs about ran him over.
Okay.
And
All right.
I
So
guess-
there's a bear charging you.
Yeah.
The Cubs run Lee over.
Yep. Lee's about
Okay.
60 yards kind of diagonal
Yep.
from me. And I guess she either catches Lee's wind or watches these cubs run past him. And she's coming at me, and all of a sudden she just
Reverse.
right down to Lee. And I'm like, oh no. So I start taking off. I'm running as fast as I can down this hill. I shoot a shot off. And about 5 yards from Lee, she's went up in the tree.
Bails in a tree as soon as the.
Lee's full draw. And he's got a Glock on his side. I mean, after all the things, like I gathered him up, we got out there, like, why were you full drawing that thing? He goes, well, I thought it wasn't out.
This is what I was trying to lay out. The 2 Cubs about running him over. What did
He goes, I thought it was an elk and you were yelling at it for it to stop. I was like, why would I yell? First off, I'm not going to yell at an elk. And
You guys are at the dispensary.
You both got eight.
I was like, and he just seen the bear and just kind of locked up, and it ended up working out pretty good.
Well, Lee loved it.
Yeah,
He's been waiting for an
it was-
experience like that in the West.
It added some excitement to our pretty slow week.
I mean, the guy's hunted out here, 17 times in the West?
Something like
He's
that.
he's been hunting out here forever, and
He still gives it his 100% off.
so if a bear attack was like what was happening this year, he was all in for it.
Yep.
That's hilarious.
Yep. After everything was over, he goes, that was pretty cool.
That's what he grabbed my arm as soon as he got in the lodge. He's like, I finally got me one of them stories, one of them mountain man stories. I was like, good for you, Lee.
I can just envision Cody trying to intercept the bear so that it doesn't get to Lee, just running full tilt down the hill.
So let's paint a picture of Lee. What's the guy off of the ranch?
Oh,
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott.
Sam Elliott. I had to say the ranch because I would have said a bunch of West.
Looks just like him, talks just like him.
Yeah.
The driest sense of humor
Oh, he's so funny.
and so monotone telling a story. So listening to this exciting story, no offense, Cody, but you don't get much action. You don't raise your voice or anything. So listening to it from both of you was hilarious when you first came in the lodge because you both seemed so excited. And you were telling the story, but it was just hilarious.
How many times he cussed you that week?
A few.
Call you a dirty Yank.
Yep. He did that one time. Yep. Yep. It's like, man, I'm just finish walking up this hill. Then you can cuss me.
Just trying to get you an elk, man.
Trying everything.
Yeah, and then Andy, he's killed 9 bulls, or something like that.
Yeah.
Listen, they couldn't even make it happen. So when Andy can't make it happen and Caleb, it's a bad year.
Yeah.
I just know it. I don't even have to hear anybody else tell me what it's like.
Andy had a great time, though. His whole family came out. They rented an Airbnb. His wife heard a bull bugle. They were having a blast. And actually that week, both youth hunters got opportunities. So the one of the girls missed, which that was a cute story because she was trying to show the boys up, and she did. She outshot them at the range. And then she went elk hunting, hiked her little heart out, and a bull came in, stood on pretty much on a road in shooting range, walked in silent.
Hold up. So my clients hear this story and they hear road. I've been hell hiking them all week. They're like, I can see them over there as soon as Jimmy and Justin are telling the story. This road, and I know the road they're talking about. It's a brushed up logging unit road that's like 15 years old. And they keep saying road. My guys are thinking they're hunting on the road. And they look at me like, this dickhead's been busting brush with me, and these cats are hunting on a road. Justin makes the story sound like they were just barely going out and getting into elk. Well,
Yeah.
Justin's hunted here so much. They were going hard all week.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah, she hiked her little butt off, and she got to draw on that elk, and she missed it by about 6 feet.
Doesn't have anything to show for an awesome year of archery.
Neither does Logan.
Yeah, oh, poor Logan.
Poor Logan's about to quit. It's one of his clients next year better kill something or he's going to quit on us. He had a bunch of opportunities too. But yeah, both of them. They had opportunities, misses. Both of them had wounds. But that's one thing, and I know he listens to the podcast, but one guy did something that I can't even believe that he even did, and that was shoot a bull in both shoulders.
Yep, not his fault.
No, he's a
100%
repeat.
his fault.
He's a repeat client. You know, he's practiced shooting. He took this hunt very seriously.
He didn't print it out. He bought an elk where the vitals are at, and it shows like the heart and the lungs and that. Well, elk, they fight a lot. So God designed them for their vitals to tuck up underneath that giant shoulder blade to keep them safe, their heart and that. Well, if you're trying to shoot the heart, you have to hug that shoulder very tight in there or have a quartering away. So on this target, it had the bullseye on the shoulder, right on the corner of the shoulder of that bull. So he shot that, and in his brain, it had trained him all summer long, shooting right on the corner of that shoulder, corner of that shoulder, corner of that shoulder, corner of that shoulder.
Like right at the crease.
Yep, and it's showing, up into the crease a little bit. And it's showing that heart on there, but it's not showing the scapula and all that stuff down over there. It's just showing the vitals of the bull. Well, when he actually got the real thing in front of him, and he said the worst part was he remembered orientation, me saying stay a hand's width back from the crease of that shoulder. He said his mind put him right on that spot where he shot that target all summer long, touched it off just pretty as can be. He said that arrow just impacted exact spot he wanted. Bull kind of like moved around, spun around, not really knowing what happened, and stuck an arrow in the exact same place in the other shoulder, and the bull ran off. That's heartbreaking right there. Didn't make a bad shot, and they looked and looked and looked. Hats off to that gentleman. He notched his tag, which we sit down, we have a little talk about that, and and he notched his tag, and they searched and searched and searched for that bull and did everything they could.
And he went mule deer hunting and just kind of went deer hunting the rest of the week. And I honestly think if Jimmy called another bull in, he wouldn't have taken it. He was pretty torn up that bull was wounded. You have to respect clients that do that.
Yep.
That, wouldn't take the chance at wounding another bull.
It disgusts us. Honestly, we respect the animals. I love the animals way more than I love the clients, the money doing this as a work. I seriously love the elk. And when people aren't respecting them and things like that, and we had good clients this year. Everybody was very respectful. If they weren't respectful of the elk made them earn their respect by the end of the week, and that makes it just as good to me. We'll get some other guides on here and tell some more stories, but there's some tidbits. I'm sure when we get other guys in here, we'll remember different parts of the same stories that we've told, and you'll get better parts of them.